Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome inside the studio. Chad Rosenma here with you on a Thursday night, a Thursday where, again, we've had a bunch of rain, but it looks like that's passed through. The crew's done a nice job with the track, getting things ready to go here for our Thursday 10-pack as we jumpstart a three-day stretch of action. Typically, I'd be welcoming in the Hall of Famer Randy Waples, but it's the future Hall of Famer they're going to welcome in. We just haven't decided what category yet. We'll see what you carve out with your path, Mr. Rallis, but good to see you. Mr. Waples, just a little under the weather, so hopefully he's back with us tomorrow, but how are things?
Yeah, pretty good. Just trying to, give myself a little bit of a rest. Obviously, it's been a jam-packed month. You know it as well. So, big weekend that we just kind of had underway, and there's going to be some big weekends coming up in the summer, but we get a little bit of a more, quiet next maybe 5 weeks. Still plenty to look forward to, but I would say just not as jam-packed.
Yeah, quiet from the Grand Circuit standpoint, but we ramp it up now provincially, right? We're going to have so many grassroots. We're going to have so many golds. That's going to be kind of the focus over the next couple of months. And then, of course, we get some two-year-old series coming up. Do have the Grand Circuit here next week with the Tompkins Gears over Thursday, Friday.
Yeah, that was always, we got some good, look at some good ones last time out as well. And we're going to see some of these, the glamour boys that we got to see compete over the last weekend. Obviously, Meadowlands Pace coming up shortly as well. But I think there's going to be just plenty of jam-packed action. And, from two-year-olds qualifying, just all across North America. It's our favorite time of the year.
Yeah, because looking ahead, we've got, a gold tomorrow?
Yep.
We've got a gold Saturday. With Chantilly. Good to see her back in the mix. We'll have more on that at the end of the show. Gold on Monday as well.
Yeah, Monday. I think it's for three-year-old trotting colts on Monday? I think it is.
Yeah, maybe that's Richie Rich. Yep. I think he's got the rail in that group. I think Galen Urso's on the outside of the gate, if I'm not mistaken, in there. And then we typically, by now, we're usually at our 5 days a week rotation where we bring on Tuesdays. It was a little bit later this year, but our first Tuesday is going to be this coming Tuesday, the 24th. So now we're really going to ramp it up. So I know you might be tired, but you're going to be even more tired, I think, John, because we got a lot to follow.
Yeah, really. And I think it's better that they kind of waited to do it a little bit later this year. Let the two-year-olds going. Give them a couple of tighteners. I know we are going to see a couple of two-year-old races tonight. We saw one last week, but it just get a couple of tighteners under their belt so they can come in here sharp, because there was times where we would see, they weren't entering as early as maybe people were hoping for. They just weren't ready.
No, and we're going to get more and more, obviously. I know you printed the proofs off for the baby races tomorrow. So right now we're doing Friday, Saturdays. Fillies on the Fridays and the Colts on the Saturday. 12 tomorrow morning.
12.
And 14 on Saturday.
Lots of work for us to do too. I mean, we love it though. I mean, there's nothing more that I love more than analyzing and watching all the baby races.
Stars of tomorrow. Right?
Stars of tomorrow, and you can find some good angles if you really keep a close eye.
Yeah, and I mean, been watching the Gateway races. Some more good performances.
How about
there.
the Bulldogs?
The Bulldogs have been looking great. I mean, I've been hearing some awesome stuff, and I mean, this was just kind of the test waters, we'll say, right?
He didn't get the best mares yet.
No, that's going to be next year, but they're already turning heads. Burke looks like he's got some really nice ones. I know, one of our most prominent owners, Brad Grant's got some really nice Bulldogs. Obviously, he was a big part of. In here, the cattle washes, in Ontario now, they're turning a lot of heads. We've had some great performances on the track with the cattle washes. Green Manalishi's kind of following up an awesome year as well. So it's just an exciting time. Magical Acres had qualifiers today for baby races. The Meadowlands has got a huge slate, I think, on Friday morning as well.
They've got 18 qualifiers in total. Wow. I don't know how many of them are going to be some baby races, though. But, I mean, speaking of cattle wash, too, maybe he didn't make, some noise last year, like right away, maybe some big-time noise. But we saw some ones coming back at 3 that have really done some nice things, specifically being Smooth Dream, who's turned some heads this year for a new trainer, Noel Daly. So sometimes it just takes some time for some of them.
Yeah, because Cattle Wash was Jersey last year, now Ontario. So, nice addition as well. As we look back, before we get into tonight's 10-pack, Monday, as far as how things played out from, a speed standpoint, I would have to think it was pretty speedy again. We had, one horse from any further than third at 3/4, and it was that 6th race. I'm trying to think back of who that was. We had a busy
It was we had a big half actually. It was that one of, I think it was Susie Kerwood's charge, or no, Chantel Mitchell or Susie Kerwood. I don't remember which. The one that Jody was sitting behind.
Yeah, that Tyler drove the week before.
Yes.
In the grassroots.
Yeah.
Right.
So she ended up being an upset fashion, but we got
29-1 or something.
Yeah, and we got a bit of a a war there early on between Billy Davis, who was trying to clear to the lead, and I believe it was a Tyler Borth on the engine there.
Yes. Yes, yeah.
And that resulted in some quick panels,
Yep.
and she was able to pick up the pieces. But all night, Chad, you needed to be up close. If you
Yeah.
were not close to the action, it was really hard to win. You could see it by the graphic.
And the strip very fast again.
Yep.
I mean, we saw Foxy Amy went, 52-4 early on. I mean, we were getting grassroots winners for the Thrill Fillies in 50 and change. And then a track equaling performance, record performance for Fashion Frenzy.
Big
In
effort by
50
him.
and 2.
Yeah, big effort by him. I think it was Promising Moment. That was the
Yeah.
filly who got the job done
Yeah.
in that spot. So yeah, some big efforts there from horses who even with some stale dates. But yeah, but they all had something in common, is that they were close to the action.
Yeah, it's often we're seeing this graphic, and you got to be close.
Yeah, especially
right,
when
for
the weather
most
gets
part.
warm.
And that's just how I think the racing has developed here.
Yeah,
Now
yeah.
it'd be nice, and I know producer Luke will be diving more into that and kind of tinkering with that and seeing what we can do. But it'd be nice to see some other. Maybe even go back, another poll.
Yeah.
Go back to the half and kind of compare it in there or something like that, right?
Yeah, I think so as well. And it's often times why you hear, so many guys say they just want to hear if somebody's going to be going forward or if they're going to be putting a horse in play per se, because it's just the way that the game is right now. You need to be up close and to have a big chance.
Yeah. How about tonight's card? How does it look as a whole?
Yeah, I think it's tricky. I think there's some
Yeah.
horses that probably stand out and are, win candidates. And I think that there's some races that, to me, I view them as, two-horse contenders. So for me, it's like you just take a stand on one of them and try to move on. But I think there could be a couple prices along the way.
Yeah, it's a lot of maiden types,
Yeah.
right? And plus the 2-year-olds.
Yep.
Got a couple of those. We're our first pari-mutuel event for 2-year-old filly trotters. But we got filly pacers, some that already have some racing experience from last week that we're going to have early on the program. So let's dive in. We've got some replays that Mr. Waples, despite sitting out, has still sent in to kind of make a case for some of these. Race number 1 to start the early pick 5, guaranteed at 75 grand. It begins with a nominators of 1 trot, Ellis Island from the inside. This horse got a lot of play, in his pari-mutuel debut, and that was because the qualifier was solid. I thought he looked good out there warming up. What did you think of the effort overall?
Obviously I wasn't sure what to expect, and I don't think even, driver and trainer Rick Zeron really kind of knew what he was going to get from that trotter in his career debut. Starting from the rail, I thought he finished up fine. He was just in a tough spot, but again, your first time starting from the pole position, sometimes it can be a little bit tricky, especially as a trotter, putting yourself in play or getting involved early on in the mile. But I thought he finished up nicely, and you have to expect he's going to take a step forward here because they've got high hopes for this guy, Chad. He's paid into a lot of big stakes engagements, including the Hamiltonian.
Yeah, so we'll see his race in a moment, but we want to first have a look at Kama. And, Kama raced really well off the shelf. This is one Chris decided to put the trotting hopples back on. And was this not a Waples horse to watch last week?
Yeah, it was a horse to watch, and I thought it was a good, really good effort by him. And, I got a chance to talk to James.
He was maybe going to be a winner here.
Yeah, I was talking to, James McDonald after the effort, and he said at the final turn he thought he was a winner.
Yeah.
And you guessed it, obviously off a clean trip, was able to kind of convert. But, maybe he just got a little bit green on the lead, did Kama, right? I mean, he was cleared, and then he kind of he's never been really there before, so I think that probably was a new experience for him. Still think that's a really good second place effort, and I think he could take a step forward from there. He's going to have to try his best to maneuver from the outside, but I think when you have a start like that under your belt, especially with the same driver back aboard, you have to feel like James is going to be confident in him.
And so here is Ellis Island. Again, this is a pari-mutuel debut. Not the easiest of challenges because he's got some experienced horses he's racing off against. He's got the rail, which isn't the best, especially for a trotter. But all in all, he ended up progressively getting faster as the mile went on and came away with a 56-3 effort and moving well on the end of it.
Well, that's the biggest thing, right? He's moving forward at the end of his mile there, and you could see him just right there with the kind of the grouping there late in the mile. So, yeah, I liked his effort. You can't knock it. Is he an absolute lock in this open? I wouldn't say so because he still has the pole position to work with tonight. I don't know how he's going to kind of get away from that rail tonight.
Yeah, he's paid up to some stakes too, isn't he? I think I heard you guys talking about last week.
Yeah, I know he's paid up into the Hamiltonian.
Yeah,
I don't know what else he's paid into it exactly, but I saw that it was a lot of stakes engagement. So, I mean, the ownership group seems to really like him. There seems to be some ability there.
Owners,
yeah,
right?
big
Yeah.
sure. So we'll see. Obviously, in a spot, given that, you should expect him to kind of be super competitive in a spot like this. So we're going to see.
Yeah, where did you go?
I actually went to Green Light Go. I made it my worth a look play, the 2-horse.
Okay.
I'm going to go a little bit price shopping here. It might be a little bit of a stretch, but I liked his effort at Grand River last time out.
All right, yeah. Blair Burgess, the Hall of Famer, sending out Green Light Go from Post 2, where John will go in the opener. Starts the $75,000 guaranteed early pick 5. Let's go into race number 2, our first of 2 rookie events here. We've got 2-year-old pacing fillies. We did see Jeff Williams 1-2 tandem from the inside. They're back. They've got racing experience. And I think that's, important because how many times do we see a 2-year-old, and I talk about this every year, can drastically improve from one start to the next.
We see it so many times.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't be too harsh on what you see last week. It's kind of like, watching and playing the NFL. You can't just kind of forget about what you see last week in certain instances. I think that can be said for 2-year-olds because they're still learning. I mean, look at the one that's probably going to be the first or second choice is the Paul Cameron charge that Jody Jameson's sitting behind. But, that filly's got 2 qualifiers, right? The one from the rail that Scott Young and Jeff Williams is going to send out. That one had 1 qualifier and a pari-mutuel outing. So both of them have had kind of 2 trips around the track, but only one has a pari-mutuel start under their belt. So I think both of them have a license to improve and put forth a good performance tonight.
So Scott had the choice last week.
Yeah.
Scott had the choice again this week. He goes to the rail when a bet's a bet. And I saw this one warming up. I thought it looked great. I thought it looked really good in the race as well. You could tell there's speed there. She's got ability.
Yep.
It's just a matter of getting the foundation and coming on through. The next door neighbor savor the moment of a full sister to Moment Is Here, who ended up doing some really nice things, here in the provincial program, threw a shoe.
Okay.
In that first race. But from what I hear, I saw Jeff Williams earlier tonight. He said Trevor Henry was happy. He said she would have been better had she not thrown the shoe. I'm not sure at what portion of the race it was. But we do want to look at a couple others in here just to kind of see how they're coming into this race. Randy had sent in a couple of, baby race qualifiers. And we're going to start with Play Something Sweet, that Paul Cameron trainee. And they're, he and his connections coming up, obviously a huge year. With Wicked Pace, and she's come back solid this year as well. Play Something Sweet. They've got a daughter of Cattle Wash in here. Two preps, which I think is big, and the latest one, to me, doing it the right way. Jody's got her just dropping the necessary time.
Yeah, and Jody obviously having his choice over a couple over one of his dads, and he opted to go to this filly. And like you said, this is kind of like an educational qualifier here, right? You did it on the engine the first one, and you're able to finish up nicely up in the inside in this effort. So you could see her even after the wire. You could see him. This filly just kind of takes off. So she's got a good draw to work with, Chad. Jody does give them a chance first time out too, right? So I think this is a filly that's coming into this off 2 sharp efforts. I mean, you could even see her right now just after the wire. She's got pace. Jody still got tight lines to her. Yeah. So she is going to be awfully tough to beat. I opted to go to the Jeff Williams trainee. A bet's a bet. They actually qualified together, and Play Something 6th. Sweet together. Yeah. I like the way the Jeff Williams charge was moving on the end of it a little bit better. So one that I'm going to give the edge to there. But I think
she's got the experience.
She's got the experience. Too. But I think Play Something Sweet. I think if she gets her gets a kind of an easy trip, I think she's going to be tough to beat.
So the other one we're looking at, Venus and Serena, Brad Grant homebred, Stay Hungry, Venus Delight, only fitting that he's gone that direction here. And, this is one where Trevor drove in the baby race, back aboard, just leaves your screen now. We'll end up seeing on the end of it. Doc was gone with the one that he's got on top, the 57-3 winning effort. Venus and Serena, though, look at her finishing strong there. Yep. And, this wasn't about, making sure we stay, up to this speedster up top here. She came home at 26-1.
Yeah, she was impressive. Again, you can't really look at the margin of victory or how far she was behind, like you said. Just look how she was finishing, and I think Trevor was pleased with that effort. He opted to go in that direction after being listed. Actually, wasn't listed on anything else. He did go in that direction, but a really, really good morning prep there, and we're going to see what she's got to offer here from the outside.
And I know you and I are both huge fans of the qualifiers and the importance of it and the information you can find, not just in the race, but beyond the actual mile itself after the wire and what you can see. This is when it gets really fun.
Yeah,
when you're trying to decipher, which 2-year-old's got that ability, which one's going to be ready to go right off the bat, who's the future star. It's just a lot of fun.
That's part of it as well. You kind of have to figure who do you think is going to be ready to go at first asking. Sometimes there's 2 or 3 that we like in a race, and we just have to figure out maybe which one is going to get a better trip or which one is going to be more aggressively handled in their debuts.
All right, that's race number 2 for the 2-year-old pacing fillies. As we go to race 3, 2-year-old filly trotters. As we get our first look at the trotters of the 2-year-old variety in a pari-mutuel event, a group of 8 are lining up in here. Morning line favorite is Storybook Love, and this was one that I'm not surprised Randy has sent in the replay for because he's been close watching these baby races as well, and Matt's unveiled some nice ones, as the Team Backs generally does every year. But he said, geez, did you see that one that Matt Bax was flying home with? He said, there's ability there. And if you didn't happen to see, we're actually going to have it here for you. Storybook Love, a daughter of Chapter 7, an expensive yearling. for the connections. But I mean, I know it wasn't a winning effort, but you got to be pretty happy with it.
Oh, absolutely. And Al Lipfield and Brad Grant teaming up here to buy this daughter of Chapter 7. And, they're expecting big things from her. She was a big ticket purchase. And I'll tell you one thing, they got to be really pleased, like you said, with that morning prep. And you can see her right now. She's kind of fourth, just as they turn for the stretch drive here. And Matt angles her out. Obviously, Matt likes to sit behind his babies just to kind of get a feel for them and figure, just maybe who might be the right fit sitting behind them and maybe what he needs to learn in terms of their experiences in the morning. And look at him just sitting straight and strong, and she's moving forward really, really well. James has his charge kind of wrapped up as well, but this is a really good effort here by Storybook Love, and you can even see after the wire, she's just by her. And this is just an effort that you want to see, and even off one prep, inside draw to work with. Given what we saw late in the mile, even if you get away mid-pack, I still think it's going to be good enough to get the job done. I have a tough time kind of believing that anybody else in this group is going to, have an easy time fending her off late.
Yeah, no, it's and Matt, he'll drive her at least tonight here before maybe handing the reins over. Who knows? But as we know, Matt very capable, of course. Knows her obviously better than anybody. Blake McIntosh looks like he's got a decent one next door, and Blake's one that we've just come to trust of having 2-year-olds ready to roll right away.
Yeah, and the same with Matt Bax too. Those two guys have something in common. You don't have to second guess if they're ready from a fitness standpoint. They're going to be ready to go out first asking. And we saw Blake McIntosh kick off the first 2-year-old race of the season, getting the job done with a winner there. A nifty steer there by Tyler Borth. So yeah, like you said, you don't have to question intent. There's certain guys where you just know they're going to show up ready to rock, and they're going to be 100% from a fitness standpoint.
Desiree Jones sends out a couple for Gino Toscani, the one from Post 4 Chatty Matty, Captain Corey. That's first crop, I think.
Yes,
right?
first crop.
Yeah, I think there was some at Magical Acres today winning Captain Corey's. Yeah,
curious to see how they're going to fare too.
Yeah, I'm hearing some nice things. About them. They were pretty popular in the sales too. So we'll see a Captain Corey here in Ontario tonight. So it sounds like you're not trying to beat the 3.
No, I'm not going to. She would be my all-in. I think that she's one that's going to be awfully tough to beat. I just didn't see anything from anybody else in there that kind of gives me the indication they'll have a time, an easy time maybe fending her off.
And we all know with Matt driving, he's obviously very capable, knows her very well, but with him aboard from a betting standpoint, might inflate the price a little more than you typically would get, let's say, if James was aboard or something.
Yeah, I think that you're still gonna get favorite status on this filly, but like you said, I think you'll get a little bit higher of a number than maybe you initially expected.
All right, we're going to skip over race 4, but I do want to pass along yet again. We've got a carryover in the pick 6 of almost $8,000 from Monday. So that's going to seed right into there. Anytime we find we get a carryover even like this, it attracts, somewhere in the neighborhood of 25, 30,000 maybe.
Yeah, and the last time there was a pick 6 carryover, I believe there was one winner. It went for just over $18,000. So yeah, I think this is these pick 6s, when they do get a carryover, I think we see pretty good payouts, and this is a night where we could see that as well.
Let's go over to race number 6 next to kick off the back half of the card. Another pick 5 gets underway here. We've got fillies and mares on the trot. It's anometers of one group. Nightingale from post 2. So it looks like she's bypassing the gold coming up in favor of this. Maybe just trying to kind of right the ship.
Yeah, missing a few weeks. I'd like to maybe if I walk in the paddock and see Susie Kerwood just kind of get her thoughts on this filly coming into this evening. Again, you miss a few weeks. You're not entered in the gold like you mentioned. Just kind of want to see how she's feeling maybe coming into this effort tonight.
And this was one that actually cost a decent penny as a yearling, but then went through the Harrisburg sales ring in the mix portion last year, and Jeffrey Ruck got her for pretty cheap.
Yeah, and she was competitive in the Ontario Sire Spring Series as well. Yep. I mean, she was actually.
She's got ability.
She's got ability.
Yeah.
She kind of labored on that turn a little bit. It looked like she was out of it, and then during the stretch drive, you could see Jody just kick her into gear, and she was just always a touch out of it and losing. You could see sometimes her margin of defeat wasn't that high. So this is one that should have an easy time with this group, but again, there could be some question marks given the date and the direction that they want to go to as well.
And Randy wanted to focus in on 5, the Green Book, and you would have to almost assume based on the schedule there, the result on April the 26th and the final of the Ontario Spring, maybe something was amiss. Maybe she was sick, whatever it may be, because she missed some time, didn't come back till this June 12th outing. But at big odds, she threatened late. Good effort.
Yeah, this is everything you want to see, especially with a horse, like you said, the missed time coming into this effort. Trevor didn't have to use her too hard. He got her out of there from the middle of the gate, and he was able to work out a pretty good trip and an easy one at that. So you could see her behind rivals there. Angelic, nice steer there by Billy Davis. She was having a tough time getting to the winner's circle, and he quarter pulled her and was able to hang on the rest of the way. But behind her on the inside, there's Trevor Henry, a couple whip taps, and she's moving forward on the inside. So she's got another middle of the gate draw to work with, Chad. And you could see her she's going forward, and she's right on Billy Davis's helmet towards the wire there. So this is one with another middle of the gate draw. You have to figure that Trevor's going to, a regular rotation. He'll likely go forward with her, you would have to think. And maybe she can work out a good trip. Of course, there's some other ones that merit respect, given what they're going to do late in the mile. But there's no reason why the Green Book and Trevor Henry can't work out a pretty good trip here. And that could result to a trip to the winner's circle.
Yeah, next door, I think we got to respect second start Ben. Getting Lasix for resolved in here and from the most ideal post position. We've seen this move before many times where Shane Weber will, develop the Rankin, horses, many of them homebreds, and then Ben will, pick them up. And Ben's just one of the best at whether it's quirks he's got to work out, or one of the best things he can do is, with trotters specifically, generate speed.
Yeah, big time.
He can just get so much speed out of them, whether it's fine-tuning their shoeing, whatever it may be. So Resolve getting on the Lasix program, wouldn't be surprised if this one wins, comfortably.
Yeah, and this is one that I would say a little disappointed given the way this one finished last time out. But you know what, you see the Lasix being added now, so maybe something obviously, maybe a little bit of bleeding there, and she shows up on Lasix, and maybe Ben did some other things to kind of tinker with this filly as well. So one that I think could definitely take a step forward here, and one that I've have her slotted high.
It's a couple
tonight.
more weeks on his training program, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. That's race number 6 draw. Race 7 to kick off the late pick 4 is where we head to next. We've got a shorter group of 7 in here. Fillies and mares 5 and under, nominators of 1 in this contest. And I know there's one that you and I were kind of, fans of, and a call you up. That wasn't a bad effort last time. And maybe something that she needed. This is one that's going to put it together, we feel, pretty soon with a good performance here.
Yeah, and she's going to be my best bet tonight. I'm just going to hope that she can put it together. Obviously, she still paced home well last week. It didn't maybe look good visually. Still had kind of trouble pacing a little bit, but maybe she's going to get better now, third start back. Paul McKenzie handled her conservatively over at Grand River. And Tyler Jones never really was able to kind of, get involved in the action. So I think maybe now with 3 starts back off that break that we saw when she did clear to the lead, I think that she could be good to go here tonight. But, you never know in a maiden event. I think that there's going to be, some other horses that are going to be in contention this evening.
Yeah, and even when she did make that break, when she was kind of coming off that last turn, Louis had even said to me, I could have come back on a 1 if I wanted. The thing was, he knew he was getting placed.
Yeah. Why exert more energy if you don't need to, right? I mean, the result's going to be the same end result.
He knew he was going to get placed, so he fought on to hold his position, but which was second. But he knew he was going to get tossed in behind that winner for sure, but ended up getting tossed in behind many others in there. Now we will see her most recent effort here, and we'll be able to focus on her a bit. But a whole lot of Rosie is the one that's going to get the focus as well, coming out of that June 13th outing where she was runner-up. To one that I know you were tracking off of the qualifier, and then Dave Maneri got her, Park Avenue Janet. Tell me she wasn't good to go in 52 and 4 off the bat.
Yeah, she was good to go, and you obviously don't know how they're going to fare, obviously without a bit of a stale date, right? You see one qualifier on May 16th, and then you don't see her with another prep. She just comes straight into pari-mutuel action, but Doug McNair kind of put her on the engine, and she was able to pace away. One that we're going to see Monday night at Grand River, post-day in a prospect series, Dave Maneri in the bike as well.
Oh, driving.
He's going to be driving Park Avenue Jet. Yeah, so one that will be in action on Monday at Grand River.
There.
Tough draw there, but hey, I heard Dave can make speed off the car.
When was the last time he drove?
His last one was either 12 years ago, or that was his last or his last drive. I don't know either or. It could be his last win. Yeah. So I think he's looking forward for the challenge starting from the outside on Monday night.
Yeah, I was just telling you, I was at Classy Lane last week, and Dave was busy out there training. And I was standing there talking to the Hall of Famer, Mac Donnell, and I saw Dave out there, and I said, he looks like a driver. Like, I don't know if he's driven before, but he looks like a driver, with the build and the way he sat in the bike. So gets an opportunity. Yeah, he's got enough horses where he can maybe pick and choose some.
Sure. He said, when I spoke to Dave, I said, well, the last time you drove one, he said, that's what he said. He said, it's either 12 years ago my last one or 12 years ago my last drive. He said, I can make speed. After that, it's, I just not sure if I can kind of go to plan B per se. So, but we saw a whole lot of Rosie. Nice runner-up effort there. She took support that night, though, Chad. One that I think is going to take support here this evening. I'm just not really sure what to make of her, but she's going to get a good trip, I think.
Yeah, and I don't mind the move that Tyler made, coming out off the last term, because he was probably surprised at how good the first-time starter was, too. Yeah, and she obviously looked a little bit kind of green on the lead there. And I thought when Tyler pulled out of the pocket earlier, I thought that maybe he felt like either Doug was tiring or he had tons, but no, Doug's charge kept going forward, and like I said, a whole lot of Rosie, good effort there, probably the best one that we've seen in limited starts this year. Quick comment from you on the 7 McJazz, because I know you played this one when she first came here May 15th. that last race wasn't too bad. She's maybe not far off.
No, she's not. Good back half that she paced. Outside draw to work with again. That's the biggest thing, is where is she going to get away in this mile? If she drew inside, I might have considered her a little bit higher, but good chance she could be getting away 7th in a field of 7, no less. But hey, if she's close, I think she's going to be tough to fend off because she has some go.
All right, that's race number 7. Let's go to the 8th race trot. Now winners of 1 for the 5 and under. We've got a group of 8 that are going to line up in this trotting event, and it looks like a focus horse for Randy is going to be Ultra Miles, who's 10-1 morning line. Do you think that's what we're going to see come post time? I mean, this horse was 50-1 last week.
50-1 last week, but I tell you what, you're not going to get anything close to that number. I think she's going to take a lot of support, and for good reason. Garnett's got her here as her spot play. I've got her listed as my, or I've got him listed, I should say, as my maiden breaker. I think that this is a guy who's sitting on a pretty good effort. Double entered on Tuesday as well. He's going to be into going to grassroots try on Tuesday as well. So
we got a bunch of grassroots.
Yeah, we've got a bunch.
Tuesday.
Yeah, a 10-pack there. So. Listen, I'm curious to see what we're going to see from him this evening, but how about this effort last time out? It was a good one.
Yeah, I mean, just at the back, it's sort of a test mile, you can call it. I mean, Shane just getting them back into work, hadn't raced since September. That's a long ways, to be sitting on the sidelines. But, for Ultra Miles, 55-4 back half, I would think he's probably pretty pleased the way he was moving.
And sometimes, obviously, you never know how, how good they are in a trip like this. You could see him right behind horses. Bob's got tight lines. Right now, it looks like he just kind of says, all right, we got what we can get, and let's see if we can kind of keep him tight here for next week. And what was a tough draw. In his first start of the year first start of this year.
An equipment break there, an industrialist.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
So I guess we give him a pass.
Yeah, you could give him a pass, inside draw to work with. I think this one is going to be sitting on a pretty good effort. We're just going to see how good, because we've seen this in the past, though, especially with maidens. You could see these good efforts, but sometimes next time out, they don't always kind of perform what you expect them to at times.
Yeah, and this Happy Angel, too. I just wonder if maybe he's better if he can follow.
Yeah.
Right? And then knife through.
Different tactics last time up from the outside.
Yeah.
You put him in play, and he just kind of wasn't able to carry that speed all the way through. But we see those quick final quarters. It's because, like you said, he's got easy trips to work with, and he finishes up strongly. So I think Billy's going to want to revert to that kind of style tonight.
All right, high five finales where we head to next. Race number 10, one night carryover coming into tonight of almost 5,400. We do close out this Thursday program with a nominators of 2 group of trotters. Full field of 10 expected to line up. Ungawa, I don't think anybody was surprised that he was able to win in the most recent, as he was kind of hinting at getting back into the win column. 54-1, so he's already proven that he can handle this level. Zetathena, got to give a better look at this one, I think, from this draw here tonight. It was a tough trip from the 10-hole last week.
Yeah, it was a tough trip. And this is a nice group that we're going to see, but I know that one stands out to everybody here in the 3-horse Lasting Dream. But this is a group that, has been racing well so far. Right? She got caught in last time out. It was a really tough, kind of a tough trip. Obviously, we're going to see the replay here. What we don't see, though, Chad, is she's stuck behind the 3-horse. I believe that's Chicago Hall, who made a brush move to the lead. And, Louis could have opted to take him. At that point in the mile, he elected to Jody got a chance to clear. Just don't know if you want to be too taxing and maybe kind of take a horse like that in your pari-mutuel debut, especially when you're a 3-year-old filly who's going to have a lot of stakes engagements this year, right? So obviously you could see Chicago Hall makes a break. And Louis
he came out of that race to win in like 53.
Exactly. So there you go. And then you see Lasting Dream kind of some road blockage, and she gets out late. She gets a clear shot late in the mile and finishes a really good second. A lot going on in that race, but I'll tell you what, Stormont Beautiful, we're going to see her go on the gold route, I believe, tomorrow night too. She's one who impressed in that winning performance as well. But you could see Lasting Dream, tough trip in that second place finish. Yeah, and I think we've got some nice, Ontario side horses in here. We do have some stakes types, but Lasting Dream, based on what she did last year, and I know she didn't win that race, but she probably does if the trip just goes more her way in that contest. I would think tonight they maybe even just take out of the equation any possibility of being caught in at all. But, this would be obviously one of Luke Blaine Determination's top hopefuls for the first weekend in August. Yeah, big time. Right, and we saw her be competitive against Tambo hopefuls, right? In the Mohawk Million. Was she second or third in that outing as well? So second so, to Maryland. To Maryland, right? Who many peg as the one to beat coming into this year's Hambletonian. So, like you said, the ability's there, and they've got higher hopes than just an overnight here in July. Yeah, we're like, 6 weeks away, roughly around that. But I mean, you got to start ramping it up a little bit. When you're thinking of Motorcon Legacy and you're looking at Lasting Dream, maybe even some others. Yeah. For them, they got to be excited about the prospects this year. Very exciting. So far, if Motocon's Legacy's performance on the weekend was any indication, he's got a pretty good sophomore group here.
Okay, that's a quick look at most of the races on this card here tonight as we sort of work backward. Let's have a look at, I don't know if it's going to be both yours and Randy's early pick 5. Okay, just yours. So let's go through yours. You obviously have to have singles because I know you love it. Yeah, there you go. You got singles in 3 and 4.
Yeah, I had a tough time with the opener here. I do respect Elise Island. I am going to go to the 2 horse as my worth a look play. Green Light Go. I think that horse had some go late in the mile and obviously merits respect. I didn't know how to separate the 2-year-olds though, Chad, in the second race. Jeff Williams charge a bet's a bet I used, and I am going to throw in Paul Cameron's, but I'm going to go a couple of singles in the middle legs. Race 3, I am going to go all in on Storybook Love. And race 4, you know what? I know that All Smoke and Mirrors was really, really strong last time out, but I'm going to go Superior Delight. That was a really good drive by Jury there with Kira Sealster, who we're going to see in a pop-up series this weekend. He kind of just got away on her. She does labor on that final turn, and he was able to just kind of put the afterburners on. I feel like she's going to get a lot of respect on the engine here tonight and could be tough to haul in. In race 5, I find this last leg of the early pick 5 to be really tricky. I went Magic Dealer on top. I think that one could improve here second time out, middle of the gate drop, picking up Jody Jamieson. But I'll use Sultan Caspian. Things didn't really go his way in the good times. Just kind of wasn't at that level that afternoon. And then I'm going to throw in Wondrous Blue Chip. There's some ability there. We just haven't seen it. We haven't seen him put it together so far this year.
Is Magic Dealer that trotter we hit last year after his first start at Grand River? Then he came here. James drove him and won with him. I paid like $9 or something.
I think you know what, that is the one. Yep. That's good memory. Yeah,
56 and change.
We were both on him that night. So hopefully he can get the job done here this evening, because one that I peg as a serious player.
All right. As we kind of look ahead, we talked about it the next several days, and I mean next several weeks. A lot of focus is going to be at the provincial level, but we've got the best program around.
Big time.
And we produce tons of stars that can not only be successful in the OSS, but then, at the Grand Circuit level. Whether it be stars of tomorrow, but, as of right now, we've got the 3-year-olds that are going to be continuing. We've got leg 2 of the OSS Gold Leg on Friday. For the 3-year-old trotting fillies. Mona Lishi trying to kind of get back on track. Foxy Amy had a big effort here on Monday. James opted for Mona Lishi, so I think Doug picked up Foxy Amy for McDonnell. Sprite Sealster for Tyler Borth. I saw, we both saw him coming in, and I said, well, someone's got to draw the 10-hole.
Yeah, and Bob McClure getting reacquainted with Stormont Beautiful as well. Kevin Ben is going to opt to try the gold level again. I think that effort that she showed last time out, the replay we showed, I think it warrants giving the gold level a try. I mean, I thought she was moving really well on the end of it, but you draw post 9 here in this spot, which is tough.
And I'll tell you, we can't be sleeping on Roxy Hart.
No, she's been sharp.
Great draw. She won. I think she was the only one in her last race that won from off the pace on that card.
Yep.
Plus, she threw a shoe.
And she was still moving well on the end of it despite all that. So she's
in the same race.
You know what? I know Tyler had to opt for his filly, Sprite Sealster. He just has to. But I tell you what, he's done a great job bringing Roxy Hart along, too. I know she, in that, was it the Spring Series final? She drew post 10. Tough draw to work with. He still looked after her in that contest. And she finished 3rd, I believe, or 4th in that contest, but finished strong on the end of it. Didn't kind of overexert her. It was a tough spot, right? I mean, she wasn't getting out of the gate as cleanly, but still one that I think was moving well on the end of at the end of that mile. So we got a nice group of fillies. We know Mona Lishi, when she's on her game, she's going to be tough. And Green Glider, are they going to have bounce back efforts tomorrow night? That's one I'm curious to see.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure, at least right now, if this is a division someone's going to just take off with. What we're seeing early on suggests that we might have a handful of them that just sort of trade blows throughout the season, which I won't mind that, because come super final time, you're going to have a nice little matchup there.
We like the parity. That's what I want to see. I like, obviously, sometimes it's nice seeing a standout in the division, but I like seeing parity. Kind of, obviously, we have to see how the post positions line up, but some of these fillies, like we mentioned, they've got so much go on the end of their miles, these trotting fillies, so it's all going to come down to trip.
Yeah, Saturday night, we've got our standout in the division for the Thrill Philly Pacers. Unfortunate we didn't get to see her last Saturday, but, Connection's obviously doing the right thing with Chantilly, dealing with just an infection in the lungs, I think it was. Something that she's actually been dealing with. So I'm sure they've been treating her up, getting her back. I'm sure you'll talk to Nick this weekend and see how things are with her coming into the contest, but she's got post 3, I think, in a field of 8.
Yeah, she's got a good draw to work with, and she doesn't have to be 100% per se to even beat this group, I wouldn't think, but they don't want to send her here, out to race if she's not 100%, or if they don't feel like she is. So one that we're expecting to kind of just pick up where she left off, and I mean, she's going to be awfully tough to beat. We just want her to have a clean rest of the season, no more hiccups, and hopefully we can get that matchup that we've been looking forward to between her and Mickey and Minnie.
Yeah. So field of 8 in there. Wicked Pace drawing well to the inside. Wicked and Single. Obviously, Millie May Hanover, if she can bounce back. I think Dougie went to her, right?
He did go to her, and I believe, hopefully he can make it back in time. He does have a drive at Vernon.
Yeah, the last Martini.
He's going to be driving the last Martini at Vernon.
Yeah, I think
there,
he picked up another one for Taylor Fritz just in an overnight or something.
But,
so
one that, obviously she just got it done in a maiden affair.
I think, is his first drive of the night. And then he drives the rest of the card, including the other field we're going to show you, which is the Preferred Pace on Saturday, because he's got Irvin Hanover in there. Brew gets a week off, or at least a week, which is good. He's been racing so awesome, fresh off of his Gold Cup Invitational victory. But Irvin Hanover headlines this bunch. But I mean, that's a good Eccentric Komodo race. Great last weekend too.
I didn't look at the final proofs though. Did Doug go to Tarasi or Irvin?
Irvin, I think. Actually, I think James is driving Tarasi.
Okay, nice pickup for him there. So Irvin, tough first over trip last time out, and he's just had some tough trips as well so far in limited tries this year.
Yeah, and not that we're showing the field right now, but just a quick mention, tomorrow we've got the Fillies and Mares Preferred and back in action Caviar and Crackers.
Yep, and she's going to...
How many she won in a row now?
6 or 7.
Yeah. But we haven't seen her since the Forest City
No, we haven't
right?
seen her, so...
So she's gotten some well-deserved downtime.
Big time. I mean, we were curious to see how she was going to fare on a half-mile track, and she did start from the rail, but she handled it no problem whatsoever and was able to just kind of keep that hot streak going.
Yeah, she meets up with odds on Platinum, I think, right, who made the break.
Yep, in that final. But I mean, I just can't. Nobody expected her to be this kind of player in that preferred rankings. I don't even know if they expected they were getting a preferred horse. Ashley and Ed. But she's been razor sharp, and obviously has missed a few weeks, but I'm sure they'll have her ready to go. But we're going to see maybe what kind of trip we're going to see from her tomorrow night.
All right, let's close out the show with some plays of the night here. John will have his 4-pack. Take us through what you've got here for your plays of the night on this 10-pack. That does feature a couple of 2-year-old races here. Not sure if we're showing Randy's or not, but we will go John and then Randy. So right off the bat, you already talked about you're worth a look at a big price.
Yeah, I like the effort from him last time out. I think it was a nice mile there at Grand River. So I'm not saying he's an absolute, one that I think is going to be worth a look, like I said. And Rebound, Superior Delight. I think good middle of the gate draw. Kira Sealster opting to go in a different direction, going in the pop-up. One that I think is going to put forth a good effort here. My best bet, Call You Up. I'm hoping that this one can put it all together and get the job done here this evening. And my Maiden Breaker, Ultra Miles, good performance last time out, hoping he can take a step forward tonight.
All right, and here's the Hall of Famers picks and some other handicappers on the night as well. Good luck with all your wagers here on this Thursday night. Good luck to you, buddy. Have fun down here.
Appreciate it.
All about your lonesome?
Yeah, it's all right.
I'm gonna jet upstairs, though. All right, we got a Thursday 10-pack again with some 2-year-old races early on. We're just a few minutes away from kicking off the $75,000 guaranteed early pick 5.